Do you think Google is the king of product search? Let me say in Turkey, that's not how people shop. In Turkey, over 70% of buying decisions happen directly inside marketplace apps. And Turkey's e-commerce market is already close to $80 billion and will pass 100 billion by 2028. So, if you are a marketer or a seller and you want to operate in this market, you need to understand these most powerful platforms in Turkey. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Nariman and here we talk about digital marketing and real market experience. In this video, I'm going to introduce the 7 biggest and most active marketplaces in Turkey. So, if you already own a well-known brand or you just registered a new brand and you're planning to enter the Turkish online market, this video is for you. Selling through marketplaces is actually one of the fastest and easiest way to start selling. Reach customers quickly and introduce your brand or product to the market. Instead of spending months building traffic from zero, marketplaces give you ready to buy customers and a strong sales infrastructure. In this video, I'll break down which marketplaces matter, who they're best for, and how you can choose the right one for your business. Let's start with the highest traffic marketplace in Turkey, Trendyol. Today, when people talk about marketplaces in Turkey, Trendyol is always the first name that comes up. Trendyol has a valuation of around $16 billion, which makes it Turkey's first decacorn. And what's even more impressive is that Trendyol controls nearly 40% of the entire e-commerce marketplace in Turkey. So, if you are entering the Turkish market, ignoring Trendyol is basically not an option. Another big advantage is logistics. Trendyol has its own delivery system called Trendyol Express, which helps sellers deliver orders faster and improve the overall customer experience. On top of that, Trendyol also runs a massive influencer network with over 100,000 active influencers. That means brands can work directly with creators, increase visibility, and turns influencer content into real sales. All inside the Trendyol ecosystem. That's why Trendyol is often the first step for brands that want to grow fast and reach millions of customers in Turkey. Now let's talk about Hepsiburada. Hepsiburada is actually one of the oldest and most trusted marketplaces in Turkey. For many Turkish consumers, Hepsiburada was their first online shopping experience, and that trust still plays a huge role today. One of Hepsiburada's biggest strengths is its strong focus on customer experience and reliability. They also have their own logistic and fulfillment solution, including HepsiJet, which helps sellers deliver faster and maintain high service standards. Hepsiburada is especially strong in categories like electronics, home products, and personal care, or everything essentials. Another important point is that customers on Hepsiburada usually have high purchase intent, which means better conversion rate for many sellers. So, if your brand focuses on quality, trust, and long-term growth, Hepsiburada can be a very solid marketplace to work with. All right, let's move on to the next one. Amazon Turkey. Amazon Turkey is part of Amazon's global ecosystem, which means very high standards, strong customer trust, and completely different way of selling compared to local marketplaces. One of the biggest advantage of Amazon is its strict focus on customer satisfaction. This pushes sellers to keep quality high, but in return, you get very loyal customers. Amazon's Turkey is especially attractive for brands with professional operations, strong product quality, and clear branding. Another huge benefit is scalability. If you succeed on Amazon's Turkey, it becomes much easier to expand to other Amazon's marketplaces in Europe. And of course, Amazon's fulfillment system, including FBA, can take care of storage, shipping, and returns. So sellers can focus more on growth and marketing. So if your goal is to build a long-term international brand, Amazon Turkey can be a very powerful channel. We've talked about three of the biggest marketplaces operating in Turkey, but that's not the whole Turkish online market. There are other marketplaces that can be really useful depending on your product and your overall strategy. For example, Neon Beer, or you can say N11, which is one of the older marketplaces in Turkey, and it's still relevant across many different product categories. Then we have PTTAVM, which is supported by Turkey's National Postal Office. This platform can be a good option if nationwide reach is important for your business. There is also ÇiçekSepeti, which originally started with flowers and gifts, but over time has expanded into fast moving consumer products. And finally, Pazarama, a growing marketplace backed by strong financial infrastructure and becoming more important in the Turkish e-commerce space every year. So, to wrap things up, Turkey has a very dynamic and fast growing e commerce market. Platforms like Trendyol, Hepsiburada, and Amazon Turkey bring the highest traffic, but depending on your product, brand position, and business goals. Marketplaces like N11, PTTAVM, ÇiçekSepeti, and Pazarama can also play an important role in your strategy. The key point is this: you don't need to be everywhere, you need to be where it makes sense for your business. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and feel free to leave your question in comments.